All right, let's see. I'm going to just share. Hopefully Clint can just get on there and I can pull him on. Oh. Hey, Clint's on there. All right, so I need to invite him as guest. Invite. You know, I wish technology was a little bit better than this. Or I was better than technology.
There's 4 people on.
Do you think they can hear us?
Yes, we're on. Clint's right there.
Yep, I hear Clint, but it's not. I don't think we're on.
We are.
You're on.
Clint, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. All
I
right.
don't think we're on.
So
it's actively going.
Hey, how do I get it to where we're both on like equal screens?
All right. So
that doesn't sound good, bro.
I do know, but I have to be on mine. No.
Oh, that's okay. All right. So let me see here.
So on the bottom, you should see like a guest list. It might be like a couple squares.
Yeah.
And if you tap it, you should be able to change. There's like a settings thing that can change who goes where.
Cat, my back hurts. Can you figure that out?
Wait, hold on. I blacked out. What were the instructions?
This is like the worst. So let's see. Do I hit co-host? Does that do it? Or no?
No, because the co-host, you're inviting somebody else.
Okay. Well, how do I flip it to where you're just on the screen first? I did that last time. I want to pop on.
It's expand.
Okay, that's what we did. Expand. Oh God! No, just joking, man. All right. So, what's this right here?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think that's just going to expand us again.
That can't be right.
I think that is right.
Okay. Well, then this one says expand. Oh, expand both? Can you expand both?
I don't know. No, it's not an option, Dad.
How come it's not letting me hit it?
Because it's not lit up.
Okay. Well, no one has to look at me anyways. I don't know how. We got a few minutes before we start, so we'll have to figure it out in that meantime.
Kat, do you know how to give me admin permission?
Clint, have you met me? Did that question make any sense at all?
I asked Kat.
Oh!
You think this is my child, right? You think that's going to help out by doing that? We both got an attention span of a gnat. So admin?
Dude, I make kids admin? From my work like explain to me how online stuff works.
How do you do? Like Kat just uses Chat GPT.
All of us are just like this.
All right.
Gosh. I got an echo from by the way.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. I have an idea. I will be right back, and I'll have all the information.
Well, you know the show goes really bad if you don't come back, bro.
Yeah. I'll be back.
Make sure you show.
2 seconds. I just got to figure out where the numbers
are. Okay. Yeah, I'll just entertain. Let's see what we got here. All right. So Clint's going to take a few seconds to explain to us how to do technology, in case you guys haven't. I'd like to thank everybody that jumped on and checked us out before we start. We got 3 minutes before the 8 o'clock hour, where we're going to start our live interview with author Clint Baker, one of my favorite authors. Let's see here. So we got a bunch of people on this time around. So Marion's in the thing. Perfect. Author Brenda Dyer. We got a lot of really great authors in the comment section. So everybody make sure that you say hello to each other, follow each other. We always want to give support to other indie authors. Hello, Kat.
Hello.
All right. So is Clint back? Because it says he's back on there. Should I invite?
Invite.
Okay.
Invite.
I hit invite.
And hit invite again.
Hey, welcome back.
So do you see 2 people in the bottom?
Yeah, I see 2 people.
When you tap that, and then there's like a gear settings. You tap the settings.
Right here, gears.
Okay.
That should be grid.
Okay, yeah. Grid. All right. So.
Right there.
Yeah, but that one's like that's for 3 people. I should just do that?
Yes.
Do just the grid and then do 2 people as guests. Yep. Perfect.
All right. Wow. Okay. See, we're learning, man. This is like educational. Perfect. All right.
This is like educational. It is educational.
let's not let everybody know that we're that bad off. So
you just proved it. The last 5 minutes.
Not everybody's on yet. Stop. All right, we're gonna give them a few minutes to join, or about 1 minute. So, Clint, as you know, nothing's scripted, so bear with us. The first part, I'd like to get to know the man, the myth, and the legend, and then the second part, we'll go over like your contest on there. And on there, let me say hello to everybody really quick in the comments. So make sure you're following and checking the comments. Kat's gonna be on the side when I do like the interviews with someone else on the line. She'll be on the side watching the comments for me. I'm not when I get talking, I don't look at the comments.
Shay told you he knew what to do.
Yeah, we said this the last time. Me and Shay were on here. I was interviewing Shay, your co-host, and I couldn't figure it out. So it was just like, one big picture of her, and then like no one could do the likes because they didn't know where to hit, and we didn't know either.
Yeah.
So that was an situation there. I'd like to thank everybody for jumping on already. We got some regulars on there. All right, we'll go ahead and start the chaos here. All right, first I'd like to thank everybody for jumping on. This is Nightwriter Myths Legends, show that we have every Tuesday night where we go over myth and legends. My name is Mike Minicky. I'm an author of thrillers, horror books, anything that can't fantasy. I write all kinds of things. By daytime, I'm a male model for the before pictures. And this is my co-host, Kat.
Hi.
That you guys recognize. She also does some of the design work for me on my stuff. And then today, I am extremely happy to have a special guest I've been wanting on the show for a long time, although he makes excuses and ducks out really early, is Clint Baker. And Clint, give a quick introduction of yourself for everybody in the comments, please.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Your volume down like 2 notches.
Do I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, all right, I'm going to have to walk me through things here. So I don't see the mute key anymore like we did before.
So the mute works, but my voice is coming out like a lot, so it's echoing through.
Let me do this. I bought a new mic, and it's probably not the best idea, so give me 1 second.
While you do that, I'll do my introduction. But hello, everybody. I am Clint Baker. I am the host of Impromptu Interview. I am also the author of The Worshipped Round Reality's Bend, which is getting ready to release its 3rd book and start its 2nd season of an audio drama, as well as the author of Mr. Candle's book. And I'm very excited to talk about all of those. Mr. Candle's book is the one I'm pushing right now. Dory Murdoch narrated it for me, and it's a winter book. So hopefully winter and winter go together. That's the goal. That's my plan.
Perfect. And I'm glad you got Dory. I'm still trying to get everything worked out to have her do one of my books. She's an amazing narrator, and that's an excellent thing. Also, I know that you do write you've been writing books. You Worship the Round Reality's Band, Can't Miss Mr. Candle's Stick. And then the other thing that you do is a show of your own with Shay, right? Mm-hmm. So please tell us a little bit about that, because I love that show.
So Impromptu Interview started with Celtic Blue to You, also known as Tanya. Everybody knows her as Celtic at this point. And she was having some health problems, 2 years ago, something like that, and needed somebody to fill in for her in the meantime. I said, oh, I would love to do that. Let me help you. You help me, I'll help you. And she's like, okay, cool. And she got better. We are still co-hosts for a little bit, and she wants to write her own book, and that's what she's working on right now, is trying to get that done. And we're trying to figure out, hey, who is going to be my co-host from now on? I'll be taking the reins, and we'll need somebody to do the second half. And we toyed around with some ideas. I threw out several people that I would like, and I thought would work really well. And top of that list was Shay, and Shay was very grateful to have the opportunity, and she joined us right away, and she's been my co-host ever since. Every week we have 2 authors, and I try to get some theme or like personalities. Sometimes that doesn't work, and then we have to deal with it at that point. But otherwise, for the most part, it's been a great show. I've been loving it every week, and something to look forward to.
Yeah, I like the fact that you and Shay, you guys do really well on there. I love the show. You have had me on there a couple of times, which I'm very grateful for. I would like to say to the authors that are inside the comment section or that are watching, all the time you get someone that's asking, hey, what can you do for marketing? And what people don't understand is that you're in a business that is oversaturated. It's heavily saturated because there's always tons of books out there. So you have to get the people want to know you, not necessarily the book. You got to let them know why they're investing into you as that big of investment of 15, $20 on all your books. So whenever I got on your guys' show, I immediately became more popular. My books started selling almost like double from just being on the show. So I do really encourage people to check out, or at least see if they can get on your show on those Thursday. Real quick, how could these authors reach out to you so they can get on the show and get a little bit more exposure for themselves?
So they can reach out to either myself or Shay, and we'll get them scheduled. There's just a quick background check, make sure they're not weird or off. Sometimes they slip. I do have slips, as you've seen, but that's fine. It happens. Yeah, quick background check, make sure you're a good person, good writer, so on and so forth. We also check to see what you do right, and we want you to be with somebody that's compatible. Sometimes it might seem like, oh, why would Clint and Shay put them together? But then it's more of like, no, like personality is what the big driver of that is. Because if you have somebody that has a great big personality and somebody who has like a small personality, like it's just somebody's going to get overshadowed, and we want them to be representative of that, or be able to represent each other.
Yeah, I was laughing earlier because you're like a background check, make sure that they're good. How in the hell did I get on the show? I was surprised I even got considered, man. That's
Yourself credit.
That's interesting. Now, I know that besides being a writer, an author, and a co-host of your own show, you also run a ranch as well. Is that correct?
Yep, I am the ranch manager over in like Central Colorado. Ended up being offered the position, and while I was working there, and I was like, all right, yeah, I can do this. First year is about to be completed. It's been over a year since I first got the offer, and I'll be finishing up my first year on the 23rd of December.
Nice.
Yeah, and ups and downs, but for the most part, it's been ups. Learning all I can. Brenda, we lease out the land for cattle, and then we run sheep.
Well, you're good. Like you could act like I have like 2 brain cells left after all the blows to the head, and you can like still read, and then like hell, I need to have you as my co. No offense, Kat.
I've been doing this for a little bit. So
I need
it
to
works well to bounce back and forth.
So the other thing I was going to say is that
Well, to be fair, he'll probably insult you a lot less.
yeah, that's true. I was going to say, I don't know if I saw it in one of your videos or you had written it down somewhere on something that one day you were on horseback, you were riding through the mountains, I believe, and you went down to a river, you caught a fish, you made a little fire, you cooked the fish, and kind of watched the sunset, right?
So I know exactly what you're pointing out. So that was on Threads, and everyone's. I don't crave to be alone, but I do crave like moments of being alone. Like I don't crave being lonely. I crave being in moments of being alone. And there's this place in southern Colorado. It's called Blue Lake. And if you hike in, it's around 5 hours. And I like to ride into there, and it's about 3 hours. But it's a 3-hour drive to get there, and then another 3-hour ride. And you have to go through the river over it. And when you're at Blue Lake when you peek over a hill, and there's this giant chimney stack of an old cabin that had been there at some point in time. And that's what I was talking about. And there's nobody there. It's beautiful. The lake's great. There's a little island in the middle of the lake. And in that is peace, because you're not really like one with nature, but you're part of it. But you're also like, you're inconsequential to the nature around you, if that makes sense, which is a weird like relief. Like when you have so much going on, so much being on your mind so much that you have to take care of, having a moment where there is nothing you have to worry about, and literally anything could happen, like that. That is what that was.
I totally relate. Growing up, I had to spend a lot of time alone. I still prefer that. Like, you guys see me talking all the time, but I'm usually like, whenever I'm not on camera, I am literally very silent. And you mentioned like one time, I think in the comments on one of the shows, like, how do I do everything? I don't get any sleep. You know what I mean? Like, I do everything, but I don't get any sleep. But when I am away from everybody and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, if I get put somewhere where I'm just with nature or by myself and alone, I'm never more happier. I can be in that moment where I don't have to constantly, like when I go out with Kat, being a father, I have to worry about constantly any threats coming at her. I'm overprotective and stuff like that. So when you're out there and you don't have to worry about that stress and you just let it down, that's a big, big relief. So I get it. But the reason I point that out is because you are, I've been reading a lot of romance novels lately, obviously because of my crew here down below, and who are fantastic authors. And I used to read a lot of romance books back in the day, but in every single book I ever wrote, there's always these ruggedly handsome, very larger than life, men on the ranch, men in the whatever type of deals, right? And you fit that stereotype. Kat calls it a crush. I call it just a healthy respect for another gentleman.
It's a crush.
It's a healthy respect for another gentleman.
I think we are in a day and age where we can make the healthy assumption that it's a crush.
Listen, Kat, we're gonna sit here and flirt. Kat, we're gonna flirt for a second. So, bear with us.
I'm already known. There's only one person in this room that's not admitting it. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, you are like 6 feet tall, like over 6 feet.
Oh wow!
He said it on one. Dude, shut up. So God bless it. You stood up once.
Started off so strong. God, there was no leadway.
I was leading into it. You're over 6 feet tall. You stood up, call you Sasquatch because you're a big man. You live rugged. You run a ranch. You're like the typical guys that should be in these books. In fact, for the female author or the authors down below that write the romance, I'm just saying a city girl ends up inheriting a ranch, and there's a strong, handsome, ruggedly handsome ranch hand, and they kind of butt heads, and it turns into a romance story. You guys are welcome. I just gave you a plot to your next story.
That's every Hallmark movie.
Would you shut up, dude? Jesus.
You're forgetting the part where she falls into mud and he puts his hands on his hips.
This is about Clint. Shut up.
You're not from these parts, are you? You're missing that line.
The point I was trying to make is that if let's say that obviously you write books, and it always is hard to get a really good cover nowadays that's not AI, right? Oh, there's the stud right there. That just got me a little bit more. No, I can't say that. So
why are you putting my hand down as if I'm the one crossing boundaries here? As if I'm the one.
Come on, it's getting out of control. So I forgot what I was thinking. 1 second, man.
1 second, man, is crazy. You're making him lose his sense of thought.
What I was trying to say before we got side-railed was I forgot the hell I was saying. The covers, right? Like, so how you want to try to stay away from AI. At least I do, anyways. I want my stories to be original. I'm not into that stuff. So Kat does a lot of the artwork. We use Photoshop to try to do what we can.
But on the other hand, I'm very traditional artist. I do pen on paper, and I don't do anything else.
This isn't a self-plug.
AI isn't doing it.
I gotta get the question.
I know, but that is important for artists, including authors. AI is not doing anything against what human beings can create. That's all I want to say.
That's fair. So, if you were, obviously, if you were asked to be a model for one of the romance novels, for like that type of scenario book, would you do it? Or would you be interested in it?
I've talked about that a few times. One of my joke goals is like I could be a Wrangler model. I could do that. I wear Wrangler shirts, Wrangler pants. That'll work.
Really quick, I just want to mention a comment that Marion just made, and it was, Kat, you're reminding me of the movie Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
That's what she said.
All right, Marion, you're no longer on the friends list. No, but you could. I think you could. I think you could easily pull it off as that'd be kind of cool, man. So if there's any sponsors out there and you need someone to do it, boom, right there, Clint's available. Now, the other thing that, go ahead.
I got some nice shirts.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm talking about, man. The other thing is that you're larger than life. One thing that I have to say is that not only you're obviously a unit of a man there, you got one of the biggest hearts that I've ever seen because whenever we like when I'm down or you guys know that I'm in trouble or whatever, you were like the first person besides, even before Marion's like my close friend, but you would reach out to me as well. And you've checked on like other authors to make sure that they weren't, still alive, at least in my case. But that was really big. You didn't have to go out of your way to do that, but yet you do that. So I do want to thank you for that. That's huge. And then you also go out of your way to give so much help to authors in the indie community that I want to draw that attention to you. And then you guys do have, you mentioned a little bit earlier, but you said on first Thursdays of your guys' show, you guys do go over writing tips, correct? Kind of give a little bit more feedback into that.
So that's more just like the craft element of it. So the first one we did was formatting, and I led that. And if we can't get somebody on for the first Thursday of the month, then I make something up and try to get it. But realistically, it's some way in which we can make people's writing better, make their tools better, just help authors grow. That is the big goal. So if we can make your book look a little bit nicer, a little bit neater, we'll do that. If we can make your writing solid, we'll do that. That's the big goal. So this upcoming week, we're gonna have John Bauer, Bauer, I think is how you spell his name. And he's gonna be talking about how to write philosophy into your writing and how to like make different characters work. Yep, Bauer. Is that Bauer or Bear? I don't know how to read.
I can't even pronounce my own name, man. But I get it.
But yeah, he's really brilliant, and I picked up his book and immediately knew that we had to get him on to talk about how to make philosophy work for not only for your story to carry in the philosophy aspect, but for your characters to carry different philosophies.
I find that interesting. You mentioned that about like, especially like him having the wisdom and trying to get the philosophies on it. I was surprised when you told me your age because you come across so mature. Like when I talk to you, you're very articulate. You're very knowledgeable. And you don't usually see that. Someone at your age, you usually see it down along. And then you have all these accomplishments already underneath your belt, and you're going for more. You did mention, I don't know if you want to share it with the group, but you also are going to school for things too, correct? Did you mind telling us a little about that?
Yeah, I'm going for genre fiction. I wanted to amplify my writing. I know there's a lot of so for genre fiction, I felt like my genres were lacking. I have big, beautiful worlds, and I do really well that way. But I needed to hone my skills on the basics, and that way my grand stuff could shine. And so that was my main goal when I set out to pursue the degree. And it's been a blast. It's been a ton of reading, and I mean like 1 to 2 books a week, and big books too. It's been a little rough, but it's been good. It's been a really good journey.
That's really cool. I mean, I have to say, like even myself, I didn't. Yeah, when I was like a little kid, I used to write stories. I mean, the Alden the Ant, that kid's book I wrote, I did that like when I was 13, and a couple other books. And I won like these little bitty miniature like achievement awards or whatever. It wasn't until I started reading all these books that I started learning better. And then now I'm going back and re-editing like the twins because as I read other authors in the thing, Emma Carolina, Brenda, you, Shay, I'm seeing these more fascinating ways of telling a story. So I think that's really cool that you get to check out all these other books and then you're trying to better your own writing. We all like to think that we have a really great story and then you find out later on that we could have just went back and did a little bit better. So that is really, really cool, man. And then what would you say 10 years from now, what would be your main goal to achieve in the next 10 years?
So I'm giving myself 10 years in being a hybrid author, so having both indie and trad. And then I wanted to go and get my doctorate and then start teaching the next generation of writers. So I want to get to a level that I am qualified to teach those kids because I don't want to be somebody that hasn't really accomplished anything and then just be like, yeah, this is how you guys do it. I want to be the guy, like the authoritative voice on that.
That's noble. That's a good cause, man. Right there, you can help other people join. I think we, in this day and age, we need books more than ever, or stories more than ever, right? To immerse ourselves, because it is a way to release, to take a little time out for ourselves. And I think that it's good because I wish I had someone in the beginning coaching me on how to make. I have really great story ideas, but to try to make it come out on paper very well, and then follow all the rules and grammars and everything is difficult. So it's really nice to have someone at some point that would teach these, and then the younger generation. You did mention that you would like to show these accomplishments. Now, I believe you've entered in other contests, because I do follow you guys, but you guys got to remember that I do have problems with my head. You've won awards though, right? Like some kind of award or something like that last year or something, or this year?
Last year I submitted last year, and then the award was awarded this year for Mr. Candle's book. It was in the action adventure category for the Regal Summit Award, and Mr. Candle's book won that.
That's cool, man. That is because you go anytime you do, people don't understand it, and some people don't. It's like when you go into a competition, you're against a large amount of there's usually like a group of people that are all competing, and they have like some really great skills, and they may have been doing it longer or whatever. So to hit that and win that is really good. Was that your first award?
Yeah. Multitasking. I meant to, Rain said congrats, and I meant to say thanks, and I wrote thank. But see, I still got some skills I gotta learn. But no, yeah, that was my first moderate award. I mean, I consider each step of acceptance an award. So like I've been in magazines and whatnot, and then I've been competing, and I've been getting like closer and closer to those. So I always feel like I'm bouncing back and forth, and I feel like I'm a strong competitor whenever I enter, because all my feedback is like, oh man, you almost got in there, or I did get it. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's cool too, though, whenever you do a contest. I mean, unless it's a popularity contest, I don't like doing those, obviously. But if you got like a regular writing contest and it's about skill, one reason why we're going to get to that in a minute, that I did create Nightwriter Myths and Legends blind contest, is because when you're looking at, let's say you don't win. I mean, it sucks when you don't win an award. Like I've competed in a couple and I didn't win. You know what I mean? It's like even like best book cover on all authors, and you're thinking, man, I really had a good one. But then you start reading the other stories, and I start thinking, yeah, I can see why they won, or I can see this, or I can learn from that. It's just like reviews. I think that I'll admit, I get hurt whenever I see a review that's not really great on my books, and I'm just like, oh my God, where does this person live? No, I'm just joking. But just joking, TikTok, maybe. But it does take in then I look at what they wrote, and then I kind of feel like, okay, I can see that. And then I'll go back and correct it, right? So I do get that on there, and then how to improve, but I think the contests are a very important thing. And since you've already been in a couple of them, I mean, do you plan, obviously if you don't win, do you get discouraged, or do you feel like, hey, no, I'm just going to learn and keep on going, and do you plan on getting in more contests?
I mean, if I don't win, it doesn't mean my stuff's bad. It just means that either who was reading it liked something else better, or that there was something very minor that just made everything shift. So it's not like it's that I had a bad story, or I had a bad idea. It's just time to move on to the next one. If I sit there and go, oh man, I can't believe I lost that, it's just gonna crush me, and then I'm not gonna write anymore. And I want to keep writing. So if I let it bother me, ends my writing. If don't let it bother me, I keep going, and I keep getting better, and just take it in strides.
That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, honestly, it's like everything you do in life is a stepping stone. If you just gave up anytime there was failure, you wouldn't have these athletes. You think that you look at like Michael Jordan, or Wayne Gretzky, or these legendary athletes. You think that they were that great from the beginning? Maybe one or two out of the blue, but most of the time they had to fail quite a bit to get to that level. That's how you step. I'm glad you mentioned that too, as far as like the writing. I will say, since we're already at that time, we're going to jump into a little bit towards that. The Nightwriter Myths and Legends contest. I got tired a little bit of seeing so many popularity ones, and I wanted to create a blind contest. The only way I could do it was with 7, because when you looked at how votes would go, 7 would be like, it wasn't like 5 or 3. You needed at least a couple reviewers that would actually do a really good job. and it was close. It was close between you, Kristen, and Emma. I mean, it was literally Emma won by like one vote. That was it. So it wasn't like there was like, it was all like, it was dominantly hers. It was literally neck and neck on there. I will say that the judges, I'm not going to give out their names because I want to use these again. But I asked a couple of people, but I decided to go with no one that follows either of us. So I went outside the realm. But I did know these people as very big book readers. I used to work for bookstores back in the day as a side job. So I went back with ones that knew like every author, that read every genre, and they were very, very into it. And I gave specific instructions to most of them, all except for one. But out of most of them, I gave like, hey, let's look for, did it enthrall you? Did it take and hold your attention? What did you feel about it? Did they put a good spin on the character? And in this contest, you guys were all, I had 3 different authors that were not anywhere near that genre, which really shows the talent. First of all, that you guys jumped into a genre that you guys didn't have. You didn't have to write it in horror, but it was about a horror story, and you guys all took the challenge. So how did you feel going into that, knowing that you were going to go off a legend that was a horror legend?
Well, I've got a lot of background in mythology and folklore and whatnot, so I felt pretty strong going into it. I knew I had a good chance, and I knew that with the indie world, that there's like who knows what would have been thrown in. So I was just trying to like gauge like who my competition was at first, and then the way I was thinking about it was trying to get into the heads of the competition as well. So I went to go write a 5,000 word story, and I said to myself like, well, hold on, like most authors that I know, they write over and then they write down. I'd rather write a solid 2,500 to 3,000 words that I can fit something in if I need to, than have to try to like cut a bunch of stuff and then it not work. And that's how I approached it, knowing all the fantastic authors that you know and that could possibly be entered in this. I really tried to hit all of my tropes when I was approaching it, and while also putting my own spin on the genre. And so it was hard. And then when I read Emma's story, I went, that was a good call. She got me. She got me. I played all my cards right, and she got me because it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful story.
I will say though, like like everybody, in my opinion, like again, I wasn't one of the judges, but I think everybody did a really great job on trying to hit that. And I'll get to that in a second. But real quick, did you guess any of the other authors? Was any of the other 2 that you were correct guess?
I think I guessed Kirsten, because I read her stuff, and I was like, that's pretty close. But I haven't read Emma before, so it was up in the air. I think I said it was maybe C.L. Carner, I think is who I thought it was. And I don't even know if you know her, but it's like a lot of the feels of it was what I was feeling. And then I think maybe Shel Cypress is who the other person I thought it was.
Okay. So the way I actually did it, so I actually had a lot of authors. The authors I did know, very few of them actually reached out to me. It was actually authors that I'd never even heard of. I had this one that I started following, Cole something other out there, and there was 12 people that reached out in the time frame that was given, and literally only you, Kristen, Emma, and like 2 others were someone that I actually knew. The rest of them wasn't. We put them on one of those spin wheels, right? And we put your guys' name in double on the spin wheel, so that would just give it a little bit more better odds of whoever, equal around. We did videotape it to make sure it was fair. Kat did the spin, or she videotaped it. I hit the spin wheel, and it just turned out there was you 3 that actually got it. So it was a complete blind test all the way through. It was ironic though that it was like literally the 3 that I usually like. I've read all 3 books of your guys's, and I didn't read all the other ones, but that's how it came about. So when I read yours, real quick, see if you can share it to some of the other ones that we all follow, so we can get them on here for the last part. And then the other thing was I think the first person that turned it in was Kristen's. I read hers, and I was really enwrapped into it because she didn't really, like, only Emma went to the 5,000, right? And then it wasn't even about the length. It was how did they put a spin on this tale? and Kristen did this timeline type thing, and hers was terrifying. Yeah, she did a chapter, and it was terrifying. Like, it was so eerily creepy that I was just like, oh my God, like this is she needs to put it up there as write a full story and turn it into a horror book, because it was right spot on, right? Then I came across Emma's, and I was just like, oh, that's a very interesting take, because of the way she brought how the children would come about and be taken, right? Then I read yours, and I was just like, hell yeah, it's supernatural, man. Like, it's got that, it's the boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm a big fan of that. And when you put that on there with the two brothers and they're ghost hunting to save their sister, you know what I mean? I thought that was really smart on how to play the angle on that. Is that what you originally went with, or did you have other ideas first?
So first off, I went to Hug and Molly and found out that there was a restaurant called Hug and Molly. And I was like, oh, that's not the right thing. And so it took me a little bit to get all of my myths settled out. And I found out all their witnesses for her. And then I found a site that was talking about how they think she started off with like scaring children was because she lost her child. And then I started like putting together like, okay, what are these brothers' motive? And so I was like, wait, since she lost a child, they should also have a child they're trying to save. And since she's trying to save children, it would all tie in together. And so I wanted those equal parallels between not necessarily like the antagonist versus the protagonist, and then make Hugging Molly be a protagonist for maybe an unknown thing that enter in later. I don't know. But yeah, that was my goal.
That's cool, because I actually read the restaurant part in there, and I was laughing because me and Kat, we didn't know about it until we went on a road trip right before the contest, right? Or we're during the contest, something like that. And it was planned out for months. Me and her were going to go up to like the Appalachian Mountains, go see about doing maybe a little ghost hunt, checking out things. And then we found about it. But right before we left, I ended up with like I'll just say that it was a possible life-threatening issue, right? And I was battling it, but I didn't want to ruin it for her. So I kind of just sucked it up, and we went for the drive. And then on the way back, I was like, hey, let's go to Hug and Molly. We found out about the restaurant. We were actually going to do a ghost hunt there. And I just hit the floor one night, and it was just like I was done.
It was on the way back.
It was on the way back.
It was actually on the way back to go see Hug and Molly's. For some reason, we didn't expect there to be that much forest and mountain in Alabama, despite the fact that we were in the middle of Appalachian Mountains. But it took, I think it was like 3 hours worth of just mountain drive.
Yeah, it was hard to get down there. And then we went down there. Kat will tell you I can deal with a lot of pain, but there's one night, man, I just couldn't.
There was one day we spent the entire day in a hotel.
Yeah, I just couldn't move. But I did saw that in your book, and I was just like, oh, hell yeah. He actually included that in there. And you even described it really well. And I thought that was a really smart spin on it. So your writing on it was brilliant. That's another thing I want to point out on the author. Sometimes when we write a short story or something like that, I was worried about someone might cut corners on like, just to rush it and stuff like that. But you actually were very articulate on it. Your writing was great. Your grammar's like flawless, which is amazing. I mean, like the editing on it, I wish I had you, man. Did you find it the difficulty being like put on a short story, one, and trying to keep it within a certain range of telling a story, and then two, getting it done in such only a short time frame?
I mean, short stories are my bread and butter. Like with the Worshipped Around Reality's Bend, that series is short stories, and I use short stories to avoid having to do time skip nonsense, because usually when you do a time skip, somebody has to get stronger, somebody doesn't exist anymore, so on and so forth. And so my short story skills are really strong. And I felt like it was an easy branch. I think I told you I wanted to do an anthology. I've been in multiple anthologies. So I've kind of got my formula set. If you're to research like, hey, how do I write a short story? What needs to happen? They usually break them off into Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And they say they're supposed to be equal, but I say a fourth needs to be your beginning, a fourth needs to be the end, and then half the short story needs to be what's happening in your Act 2. And that's been working pretty good for me for the most part.
Nice. Now I feel very, very bad about my writing style. I just close my eyes and go through like whatever pops in my head and type it out. Marianne goes over my work. I feel sorry for her, but I do thank her. And then I'm going to try to read a little bit of your story real quick for a few minutes, if you don't mind. I have it pulled up. I'm going to kick Kat out of the screen really quick so I can do that. And we're going to do that really fast here. I got to pop my head off. I got to clear my whistle really fast here, and I can't do it on screen.
I can't whistle.
Unless you want to read it. If you want to read your own story, you're probably better at reading it than me. It's up to you.
I can read it if you can't get yours up.
No. Hey. Let's not spread rumors on here, Clint. Been talking to my wife, man. Come on now. So
Wow.
I'll let you read it since you wrote it. I read Emma's, but like I do have pressure in the back of my eye, so I'll let you read it if you want. Just read about the first couple parts of it, like the first and second part of it, and then leave just a little bit for them to read, to go to like your website and check it out. Do you have a website?
I do have a website. This will probably be in the anthology I'm working on. And I think the best way is just doing my link tree. That's where I find everything.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
So if anybody wants to read his full story, I am taking it down off of Patreon like tomorrow. Yeah, that was a temporary thing. If you guys missed out on it, I made sure that all authors keep 100% of their royalties on it. I do not own that work. That's Clint, Emma's, and Kristen's. That goes back to them. You can definitely support them. Go to their channel and let them, look at other stuff they got on there, right? So Clint, I don't know how to mute my side, but I'll be very quiet, and then I'll let you go ahead and lead us through your story there.
Okie dokie. So I guess to begin with, when I set up for these characters, I knew they were under a lot of stress. So I thought to myself, hey, what if I have them fighting tobacco addiction? So they know that like this is stressful. They want to stay on their A game because it'll affect them. And that's how I start off my story. So Len Billy struck a match against his pipe. He brought the flame down on the raspberry leaves that he had come to enjoy. He puffed twice, allowing an ember to start before stomping the match into the ground. Smoke billowed in front of his amber eyes, making him trace it to the sky. His brother, Jackson Billy, shook his head. I don't know, Len. Jackson kicked up dust as he snapped his book closed. The title read, Ghost Stories for the Wandering Soul. These folks seem to be real fond of this one. Jackson popped his sucker in his mouth. The cherry flavor was akin to cough syrup, but was passable enough to hit his itch. Len nodded as he smoked, like a protector of sorts. They studied the restaurant sign. On a red background in bright letters, Huggin' Molly taunted them. The book says she doesn't hurt anyone, Jackson said, in a way that was half an internal thought. Scares them a bit and sends them on their way. Sounds like an easy catch, Len said. He took one final puff before tapping the pipe on his boot. The ashes fell to the pavement, throwing a slight haze of smoke. He stomped the ashes so a rogue ember wouldn't find its way to some place unwarranted. Len noticed a woman staring at him. She gave the man a disgusted look, to which Len met with a slight smile and a tip of his head. She shook her head and went about her day. Lorona was a pain and a half. I think we could use the same trick. What do you think these people will do if we snatch their hero ghost? Jackson asked. He took the sucker out of his mouth with a pop from his lips. He swayed it around before pointing it at his brother. It slipped from his fingers and into the dirt. Jackson cursed his luck as he picked it up and tossed it in a nearby trash can. We don't want onlookers chasing us down again. I think I'll stop right there.
Are you sure? Do you want to go? Let's ask how far was that into it? I stepped out for a second.
That was 200 words, 400 words.
Okay, no worries. So it was a really good story, man. I think that you did a really great job on it. Everybody give Clint some love because that is a really good story, man. I like the fact you had the two brothers, and I don't want to give too much away, but they do try to set up a trap in there, and there is a comedic part down there towards with the mannequin on the the wagon. They put it on the wagon, but the boy he tries to get the real boy to go on there, and then actually, can you just skip to that part with the boy? Because that was funny.
With the fake boy or the real boy?
The real boy, because that was funny with the whole coat and everything else like that. Read that part real quick.
And you'll give me $5, the boy said, just to run down the street? Mister, you know how this sounds, right? Len had to admit his plan sounded crazy. Jackson's ghost hunting show joke didn't sound very far off. Listen, Len said, I just need you to make a small commotion, enough to scare up anything watching, or anyone watching. Once you hear anything, take off running and find me later. You're the one with the hurt brother, aren't you? The boy said. The mom was his nurse, and she said he cried a lot before they put him back together. I want 50. 50? And half now, the boy said with a large nod. If I get a broken shoulder, I want it to be worth it. You little... Glenn stopped himself from ruining the situation. He checked his watch, which was reading pretty close to the same time he met Huggin' Molly the previous day. He released a long sigh. Fine, 50. And your coat, the boy said. You conniving... Len couldn't believe he was letting the kid swindle him, but what choice did he have? It wasn't like Huggin' Molly would fall for the mannequin again. After you help me tonight, it's yours. The boy gave a gap-toothed grin. He turned and skipped down the street, singing nonsense songs. Performative little guy, Len said as he slipped into a back alley.
All right, that was. I love the fact that because one of the things that kills me is like sometimes we can get so stuck on one path on a story, but it's always good to have some kind of like either comic relief or something that changes it up. That scene was I was die laughing whenever I read it when I was coming across of it because it just fit really well because the brother gets hurt, right? And then you got this he's trying to like do it by himself, and just the fact that they try to use a mannequin and blew up in their face, and then the boy there's a little spot after for those that haven't read it. There's another spot that comes up, so I do encourage you guys to go over to Clint's website and then check that out and then read his work over there because it is really, really good. So that was awesome, man. What's that?
I'll probably put it on my Patreon.
Yeah. How just out of curiosity, what social medias do you primarily use, and where can they actually find you?
So mostly for promotion, I'm here on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram. I like I like the memes and the reels on Instagram a little bit better. So I don't really post much on there. But I do post my story. So I post a lot of things that help authors, a lot of things about, AI and whatnot. Try to keep everybody updated. Then I do have a Facebook page. I haven't posted on that in forever. And then I do have a Patreon. I have stories for sale. I'm going to be making those free. I decided I don't feel comfortable asking for money on Patreon. So I think that's just going to be a good place to put my short stories. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't have a mailing list yet. I think when I get a little bit farther down the line and I have more time, I'll have a mailing list.
No, I found the same thing. Like everybody always asks, like, what's the best way? Back in the day they gave analytics, but Facebook I'm very rarely on. It's just that anything I post on Instagram goes over. I was primarily on TikTok. However, Instagram kind of stepped up their game with a lot more things that you can do. And I found a lot of the authors that are actually inside the comments have followed me over there, and then now my stuff gets pushed to the top, right? So I have been having better luck with the Instagram. The Patreon, it's hard for me to stay up on top of everything. I mean, when you start doing this, you get so much social media. I don't charge for the Patreon because, like you said, there's so many subscriptions out there. However, there might be some episodes I might charge for only because when me and Kat go out to certain places, it keeps it to people that want to see that content because we there's no filters, and we want to keep it to where they might have to pay just for that part of it, but other than that, we just keep it free. Now, do you see that in the future? Well, like I said, I just started a YouTube channel. Do you ever think about maybe doing a YouTube on because obviously you're going to help people write. Do you ever think that maybe you're going to start a YouTube channel and start giving out writing tips and such?
We've talked about that a lot, actually. And when TikTok was up in the air, we had brought up how YouTube has stepped up with their reels, with their short videos, and how their lives have been doing really well. So yeah, that's definitely been in the future. I think for me, I would love to get my stuff animated, and I think that's where my branch out would be, and that's where a lot of people find a lot of their success for their writing is if they can get something animated, visual to be alongside their work. It seems to work. So I'm practicing my art. Maybe I'll do it myself. Maybe I'll get popular enough that I can afford to have somebody do it. That's the goal. That's the dream. So that's where my push would be for YouTube.
That's what I was thinking. Like whenever I write a book, in my books, everybody says it reads like a movie because when I see it, I'm just writing it down as the movie plays out. And nowadays, everybody's like, well, that should be made in a movie, and then you don't realize it's very hard to get someone to make a movie on like Nobody or something like that. The animations are a very big thing right now. You can get voice actors to do it and stuff like that. One of the things, Mia's in the audience right now. Mia MP is a brilliant when she creates poetry and photography. Well, she created the reel without me even knowing of the animation of just me and Kat. And I saw that and I was thinking, man, I would really love to have a story. And reading Worship Around the Reality's Been, I had it earlier because we were doing a skit that didn't go very well. But Worship Around Reality's Been, because you're dealing with like these gods and then the timelines of the battles on Earth. And you had written a book where it almost feels real. That would have been an excellent animation film. So is that something, let's say if you could get anime and you could afford it and you were able to do it, would that be your first project to put into anime?
So I think it'd be a lot easier to do Mr. Candle's book. I've got a few other projects I think would be better because they're a little bit basic. So something to start off with, get my name out there as a writer, so on and so forth. In that field, I think those would be better, and then later on, do the Worship Around Reality's Bend because I have some pretty crazy fights that go on, and so if I can make it simple, figure out my basics, then do my grand stuff. I think that's the best way to do that. Shay brought up something, by the way.
Okay.
The Discord. We are starting a Discord channel. We're trying to up our game for next year. With the way social media is, it's really hard to keep up with everybody. So everybody that's a guest and that we make sure is good, we'll invite to the Discord. And we have specific channels to help people. So if you have a release coming up, like you put it in there, that way we can make sure we can schedule you around your release. Because right now it's just trying to track down and trying to keep up with everybody. And that's a lot of TikTok time. My screen time is insane. I need another parent to limit my screen time.
That's true. Like it's funny you mentioned one Rain. Me and Rain are friends. You see her down. She's a content creator. Very very beautiful posts. Like her posts are extremely visual. And me and her have become friends. And she convinced me to go on Discord. But I'm so not tech savvy that I forget I even have it. But it's gotten to the point where, do you ever feel? It's almost like I wake up in the morning and I get pulled in so many different directions that it's really hard. And then there's times whenever I have to move and I have to move now, and it's not my choice. And whenever you get up and you move, I feel like I'm spending even more and more time, like an hour on morning, just trying to get through all the social media for advertisement and stuff like that. And then do you ever feel really overwhelmed with like all the different avenues you have to take in this business?
Yes and no. Everybody's journey is going to be different. How they find success. I've been up and down. I mean, when Kindle Vella was a thing, I was a top 50 guy for a long time. So that was when that went away. I definitely felt that hit, and so I'm gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. Whatever I have to learn for the new avenue, I'll do it. That's just what we have to do if we want to keep going. And I think it's called parallel thinking. If I can do that, and so something's emerging and I try it out and it works really well, cool, I'll keep doing that. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. Like Lemonade when it came out, I hated it, didn't work out, that's fine.
Yeah, same thing. Like whenever, like you said, TikTok was up in the air and I tried doing like all these other apps and I can't. It's like, I excel, even though I got, damage to the head and stuff like that. I excel whenever I'm put on a spot and I have to make split second decisions. I'm very, very good and spot on because my split second decisions are very, very important to make in my life. And I can usually do that, and I can usually immediately go, hey, boom, 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 and get it all done and line it up and make it work. But when I'm outside that realm, I'm like a bubbling idiot, and you're right with the parallels. You got to like stop back, and then you kind of got to like you said, everybody's journey is different, and then trying to figure out process of elimination. What's working, what's not, right? And do you keep track for some of the other authors that are on here? I keep track on what's working for me and not in like a log. Do you keep a log on like what social media is working for you or what avenue of advertisements working for you or marketing?
I'm always willing to try new things. And if I notice something isn't working, there's no sense, just pushing it through. So I think a good example of this is I used to make the advertisements, and every 6 months I would make a new type of advertisement, but we'd only get like between like 20 to 150 views on that. And that doesn't help us. It doesn't help the authors that we're trying to promote. Sometimes on my stuff, I would like to promote it. Whenever we get gifts, I try to put that right back into the show. And so like these gifts are phenomenal. They helped us keep everybody promoted. So I just noticed it wasn't working. I didn't really want to pay TikTok insane amounts of money. So I decided to switch, and I just announce it now. And I get a lot more views. It does a lot better. I'm getting between 250 to 300 views, sometimes more. So it's just making sure that the algorithm's happy, but also that you're happy and that it works for you. And that I think that's where I should that.
That's actually a good way to look at it, man, and good advice. Yeah, I won't pay for advertisement. I just won't. I've been in marketing for a long time and outside my other activities. And, for me, like I put on my Patreon, it's like, nothing's going to be, I talk about it everywhere I go. If I'm out, I'll find a way to slip in that I write books, and I'll have my card on hand. Usually the bookmarks, because people will keep a bookmark and not your business card. Real quick, I know I get distracted really easy, Clint, but you've done this enough. Why does it show? Yeah, I know the bookmarks are amazing. Bookmarks are probably the best. Well, let me real quick. There's a little puzzle piece that pops on here every time I do a live. What the hell is that?
So the puzzle is just saying, hey, you've been live for an hour. We need to make sure that you're not just being inactive. Some people, they take advantage of it since they get paid from TikTok and from viewers. If you're not actually interacting with people, it's just like kind of taking advantage of the system. So you just have to do the puzzle to be like, yes, I'm here. Don't worry about me. I'm good.
Gotcha. And then the bookmarks, I always carry a couple with me, but on the bookmarks I'll have a QR code and other things. But go to every single, I always tell everybody, go to like, if you got those like free public little book libraries outside of a restaurant or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're.
Yeah. I go over, I look them up, I can find them on a map. I'll go to each one, throw bookmarkers in there. I'll go to every single coffee shop. I mean, one day me and Kat went to like 20 coffee shops, thought my heart was going to explode. We were shaking so bad by the time that we got done, but we put them out there, and then I can tell if it hits or not, and it does. So the bookmarks are a big, big thing. I do want to take a moment to think.
Puzzle, right?
What's that?
You did do the puzzle, right?
I did do the puzzle.
Okay. Rain was saying you didn't.
I did. It showed it on here. It's a little puzzle piece.
Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure that was good.
Okay, yeah. So the other thing was that first of all, I'd like to thank you because whenever I started Patreon, you were like you go out the bigger distance than anybody else. You gave me a bunch of stuff to give away on Patreon when I first did it, and I did kind of split it up. I gave out some things to one person, then split it up between the others. I think Marion won one because she was like the first or the only person on there. So that as well, and then so you gave out these gifts. I do appreciate that so much, man. Your buttons, you have buttons and stuff like that are really cool. Those were amazing. And how did you, is that something that you do regularly at your book fairs? I mean, do you still do book signings and put that stuff out?
So half of the stuff I got there, I should give credit to somebody. I can't remember her name right now. So half of them I did myself, and then the other half I was asked to be interviewed, and she sent them to me. And so wherever I go, I try to do something for my readers. And so if somebody buys my book, I might just give them like throw some stuff in there, like attached to the bookmarks. Say everybody gets a bookmark no matter what. I try to have options. I think there's some necklaces and whatnot in there as well. But whatever the reader would associate with me, that's gonna be like a little plug. And so if they even if they have it, say like in their jewelry box, like if they have the necklace or the earrings, they would see that and be like, oh, Clint Baker, I should see what he's been doing lately. And that's all free. I give that away. I put it in whatever I can. I need to order more pins. But yeah, whatever I can do to help promote my books, but also like have a positive interaction with me while I'm selling my book. Because I feel weird asking for money. So if it's a positive interaction.
I'm kind of the same way. Like one reason why I don't, I try to keep Patreon free and stuff like that. I'd rather have them spend their money on my books and get something out of it than spend money on subscriptions and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I want them to actually enjoy my book if they really want to buy it. If they don't, that's fine. But I mean, I wish that I'd rather have them spend the money on that or even on the authors that I promote. You know what I mean? That way they get something out of it in return. Do you have any book signings coming up maybe in the next 6 months that you do want to plug here?
I'm going to be at the Abracadabra bookstore hopefully around the 20th. We're working on a date. The Abracadabra is in Gunnison, Colorado. Then I'm also going to be, I'm staying in Gunnison, try to do, there's a jerky store. For some reason, they love my book and asked to have it in there. And I told them, hey, I'm going to be in Gunnison. Do you want to do a book signing while I'm there? And they're like, yeah, go ahead, do it. So I'm going to try to do those over the weekend. And then when I release book 3 of The Worshipped Around Reality's Bend, I'll have a bookstore signing as well, but I don't know where that's going to be yet.
I was thinking, funny, you said the jerky store wanted your book. I can just see a poster of you, like on the side. You know what I mean? It's just like, like it goes back to the beginning of the episode that we just started with, like the whole modeling career that you got there. That'd be funny. This big ass picture of you just going in there, and then Clint Baker's books. Oh, and look, they got jerky on sale 2 for 1. You can't go wrong with that. And
I saw our display, and it's like my book, and then like how to make jerky, and then some cooking books. And
someone picks it, Mr. Candlestick, and everybody picks it up thinking it's a cookbook, and it's just like this totally different story. So that's awesome. Do you ever plan? I know we're getting ready to close up here, but I got like 4 minutes here. Do you ever plan on maybe stepping out of the state to do maybe book signs, maybe travel a little bit and do those if you got the opportunity?
I'd love to. So right now on the ranch, it's just me. I do have a hired guy that can only work weekends. So I'm trying to get him established. And so if I can get him to where like, he's like, yeah, this is the job I want. This is kind of the career choice I want. Then I can go out and do more things outside of the state. Right now, it's just day things. If I can drive to it, cool. If I can't, then I just can't. So, I mean, sheep got to get fed, dogs got to get fed, roads need to be plowed in the winter. So if there's nobody to do that, then my job's not getting taken care of. So job pays for this to work.
Absolutely. That's the thing with like a lot of people don't understand authors or any authors. We have like other jobs. Like I actually work like 2 different jobs besides this. And, it's demanding. And then, for me, I'm being pulled in so many different directions. I was going to say, I long time ago, 2 things. I know we're running out of time here. If you guys don't mind, I'll probably go just like 5 minutes over because there is a couple things I want to go over with Clint here. If you guys got to drop off, that's no problem. But real quick, one of the things I tried to do a couple of years ago whenever I started writing is I wanted to do like, maybe like authors kind of like jumping on the back of each stories. And then Stephanie James Publishing came out and she reached out to me one day and she's like, hey man, I've read your work. And she actually did. She knew the story. She was a fan for a while. And she asked me, would you do a book? I read her book by Daniel Maya, Your Move. And I fascinated by it. My father passed away at that time. And I was just like, yeah, And I said, yeah, I want to do a sequel to it. And she said, yeah. And that sequel blew up, right? The next movie was like one of my best written books. And I was thinking, I always see on TV, or I go to a lot of, me and Kat go to a lot of conventions. She cosplays. I go around and sometimes people recognize me and I'll sign autographs, or I'll be there and signing autographs. And I want to get all the authors together, like just like a tight knit group of like, maybe me, you, Shay, Brenda, Veronique, everybody together, whatever, at like a convention center somewhere. And then we all like stay at the hotels and just have fun. Like the authors meet and greet, and then maybe people that are fans of ours could come by there. We let them know where it's at. They can come meet and greet us, like a big, massive hall meet and greet. If I know it would be really hard to plan that out, but if it was, would that be something that you'd be fully into? Check it out.
Yeah. Tanya is wanting to do that, and I think life just kind of got a little crazy, but that's something that's been in the conversation on something we want to do.
Yeah, I think it would just be really great for everybody. All right, so we're going to wrap up here real quick. Clint, thank you for being on the show. I really do appreciate it. I know that you have a busy schedule, and then on Tuesdays, usually you have class. So I'm glad that you made time for me. Definitely want to thank you for doing the contest. I will be doing another contest next year. Although if you did win the contest, you can't repeat, because I want to make sure that each author gets a shot at it. So you did compete, but you didn't win, so you can compete in the next one. You just got to sign up and then go through there. So there's always another opportunity here. Real quick, go ahead and give you another brief description of yourself, where they can find you, and what book are you promoting currently, and where can you find it?
So I am Clint Baker, author of The Worship Around Reality's Bend, as well as Mr. Kennel's book and so many short stories. You can find those on my Patreon. Wait like a week or so. I'm trying to figure out how to make them free, and when I do that, then they'll be free. So just check in every once in a while. You can find me here on TikTok, as well as Instagram, a little bit on Facebook, again Patreon. I am promoting several things right now. First off, Mr. Kendall's book. If you can get the audiobook, I think it's a very fascinating listen, because it was Dory's first narration. And while she starts off like just a little bit rough, seeing her confidence like boost, I mean, it's just a fascinating listen on her growth through it. And she did a fantastic job with it. I loved every minute of it. If you can do the audiobook, go get the audiobook. But if you prefer the hard copies, you can also order from really anywhere books are sold. You can go to your local bookstore. That's what I always tell people to do, because the more books that are being sold in a bookstore, more likely they're going to want to order that book. The other thing I'm trying to promote, The Worship Around Reality's Bend, you can get caught up on books 1 and 2. Also order them wherever books are sold. The audio drama is free on Spotify. It's free on Spotify. I'm going to try to do a giveaway at 100 followers on that, and season 2 is on the way. We have a date. We're going to shoot for Valentine's Day of the upcoming year. So look out for that. I can't wait for that to come out, because it's sounding phenomenal.
Nice, man. All right. And then my name is Mike Minicky. I'm an author of thrillers, fantasy, basically all genres, but I do focus mostly on horror and thrillers. You can check my books out on Amazon. They're all listed on there. Right now on December 27th, 2 of my books will be free for you guys on ebook. The Graveyard Games, which is my newest novel, which I do really encourage everybody to read. It's probably one of my best works to date. Also, Witch's Revenge. If you love a really good, since this was like about short story contest, Witch's Revenge was a short story, but it has a really powerful message. Everybody loved it, and I'm so grateful for that. But both those books will be free on ebook from the 20th or 27th to the 30th of this month. So make sure you guys grab your copies. Also, I do encourage authors do well if you guys leave reviews. I can't stress that enough. The best way that you can help any author out, your favorite authors, is to go and leave a review, either on Amazon or Goodreads. But please leave the reviews. Thank you for all the gifts that you given both me and Clint tonight. That matters a lot as well. My co-host, Kat, thanks you. She's off screen right now. I also have Nightwriter Myths Legends, as you guys are on right now, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Check us out. And then I did start a YouTube channel. It's in the works, but I am going to be doing some of my lives on there once I hit enough followers. And YouTube's, you're going to see me and Kat doing a whole bunch of things that are just me and Kat. But it is a good way that we can do videos where we can get away with a little bit more than what we can on TikTok. And they're longer and you can take your time on those. All right, you guys, thank you so much for attending. Thank you, Clint. You guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. All right?
Awesome.
I guess got to figure out how to turn it off now. So we're